Hi, welcome back to my production journey where I am documenting my progress with learning how to produce music. If you are new to this channel, I started learning how to produce music back in August of 2025, learning how to use first the Akai MPC2 software. I produced my first 5 tracks with that software, and it's great piece of software. And I later switched over to Ableton January of this year. So January 2026, I made the move over to Ableton. Um, Firstly, because I was really interested in the Ableton Move controller, which I have, not in screen, but I have it in front of me. And two is just much more accessible on YouTube. With MPC2, I was able to kind of translate a lot of the Ableton tutorials into the MPC2 workflow. But after some time, once I decided that I really wanted to work with Ableton Move, it just made sense to kind of move everything over to Ableton. So that's what I've been using, as you can see on the screen, using the Ableton DAW. And I do a couple different videos on this channel. One of them being like today, where I'm just gonna go over the background of my latest track that I've produced, and that will be available on SoundCloud. I'll leave a link in the description. Some other videos I do are like Ableton Move Freestyle is what I've been calling them. Basically, Ableton Move is able to select 4 random instruments, and the idea is to kind of get you into a creative workflow. So I've just been taking advantage of that feature and putting up hour-long videos on the channel where I let Ableton Move decide on the instruments, and then I tried to produce a house track with whatever instruments it gives me. So if you're interested in something like that, you can find those videos on my page as well. Um, if you're interested in videos on how to use the Ableton Move, if you're looking for that type of controller, I'll leave links in the description for other channels that I found quite useful for getting started with this. So these videos that I'm going to do today normally don't take too long. What I'm going to do is preview the track, just 16 bars of the track, to kind of give you an idea of what has been produced. And at the end of the video, you can also see in the timestamps, I'll leave a visualizer at the end that I've created using Project M, which is an open source visualization program where you can use a bunch of different templates and create a visualizer based on sound. So I'm using my tracks and it's generating some cool visuals, and I thought that would be cool just to add to the end of these videos. So yeah, just experimenting with stuff with this whole journey, and it's been fun. Um, what else? Also in this video, I want to talk about plugins. I feel like I haven't talked about any of the plugins in my previous videos, but it's quite a big topic in music production. A lot of the YouTube videos I watch, luckily, have allowed me to avoid purchasing a bunch of different plugins because I feel like it's very easy to get caught up in all the hype of the different things that are out there helping you get better with music production. My approach so far has just been to use everything that's directly in Ableton. So I haven't used any, oh, that's not true. I use some free plugins. So I haven't purchased any additional plugins to go into Ableton. I'm using the ones that come with it, and I also found a few helpful free plugins via different YouTube channels. So I just want to talk about that for a little bit in the video. So Banter. Banter is the name of this latest track that I produced. And I chose this name because I try to use a lot of call and response techniques in this. So each sound has like a, not an A and B side, but if you hear one sound, on the other side of it should be something else that's playing. This is the call and response as I know it. If I'm getting that definition wrong, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I use a lot of call and response pretty much with every aspect of this. Um, and it seems to be quite an important thing to use within music production. So in my head, I was just like, oh, banter, that's normally two people exchanging like funny jokes or in a witty way, exchanging comments back and forth. So that's the name I came up with. And yeah, I'm just going to play a preview really quick so you can get an idea of what the track sounds like. And then, like I said earlier, there'll be a visualizer at the end where you can hear the full track. And then also, if you want to go on SoundCloud and listen to the track there, you can download it. There's always going to be a free download for the foreseeable future at the moment. I haven't made any artist pages like Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp, Beatport. Uh, Everything's on SoundCloud at the moment while I kind of develop a sound and get more comfortable with producing tracks that really feel like me, I guess, in a way. So yeah, I'll play this track. Start with the volume a little low. So. Okay, so gives you a little bit of an idea of the track. It's not nearly as fast as some of the other tracks I've been producing. Up here, you can see that it's 124 BPM. I'm typically producing in like the 130 range, which is quite fast. House music is 124 to 126, and then you start to get into tech house, and then 130 has been, I don't know, in Berlin, I think they start to call it electro once you get to like 133 or something like that. But yeah, a slower track, I wanted to take a different approach. And you probably noticed over here, I have a few different tracks disabled. So that preview I just gave you doesn't include one of the sounds. So one of the things I kind of struggled with on this track was finding the last instrument to kind of layer in with everything. So I'm going to preview the track a few more times and show you what the kind of progress was, the instruments I was using before. So if we enable this first track, this is the first sound I was working with, and I thought it was okay in the beginning. Okay, so it was like this robotic sound, and I thought it was sounding quite nice in the beginning, but then my other thought was like, maybe this isn't the one. Then I tried to create a second pattern with it. I won't even try to preview that one. It really didn't work out. But then I ended up switching over to a completely new sound. This one, Lightest Night Art. So if I'm going to enable this, and you can hear how this one sounds. was like this jumbled up robot type sound. Again, when I was first using it, I thought it was okay. But then in the end, I ended up on this lo-fi voodoo instrument, which I think was the right choice. You can let me know in the comments. Maybe they all just don't work, and I could have just left out this completely. But this is the one that's in the final track, this lo-fi voodoo. So yeah, that's the sound I landed on. That's the one that's going to be in the final track. Again, SoundCloud link is in the description if you want to go listen to it there. At the end of the video, the visualizer will come up with the full song as well. But yeah, this part of the process, I was just kind of trying to really be honest with myself about the sound choices I was making. Because at the end of the day, I mean, that's a lot of the music. I mean, that can really separate a really, really good track from a really, really bad one. Outside of like arrangement and everything. But you know, the sounds you pick at the beginning really can make or break a track. So I was trying to really just like, does this sound right? Is it the right one? And I just kept jumping, trying to make something work. And this one I feel pretty happy about. I feel like in my previous tracks, I would put the song together and I would still be unsure about certain things, but I would still put it out. So I'm trying to mature a bit and be more like, does this work? Does this not work? So that'll be a journey within the whole journey, a sub journey, kind of. And yeah, so that's the track. The other thing I wanted to talk about was plugins. So I guess I'll just go through some of the main plugins I use. Um, so let's start with I think Fab Filter is like one of the most popular EQing plugins. I found this thing called TDR Nova from Tokyo Dawn Labs. Free plugin. Every plugin I'm going to show you is free, so you can download them and use them. But I found it to be a pretty decent EQ. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here you can do. I think you can even do dynamic EQing, which seems to be like something you really should do. I haven't done it yet, step by step. But this, I think once the kick comes in. So yeah, in this example, I'm just filtering out some of the low end of the kick with this one to kind of work better with the bass. So close this. I also have one on here doing. So I'm filtering out less of the low end on this one because I want more of the low end to come in with the bass. But I found when I do that, I'm not getting as much phasing going on. So the sounds aren't canceling out each other as much. I think they're still canceling out a bit. But I also have a compressor on and it's side chaining to my kick. So that's reducing some of the phasing as well. But yeah, that's the TDR Nova plugin that I use on pretty much every track just to do some of the EQing. The compressor I use quite a lot with dance music, house music, techno, Side chaining is quite important. And for now, I'm just using the compressor that comes with Ableton to basically duck the bass every time the kick is coming in, to get a better groove going. Uh, the saturator comes on all of the when you make something on the Ableton Move, the saturator is kind of built into most of the tracks already. So that's normally there, but I don't play with it too much. Uh, Reverb, again, also like a standard thing to have on tracks these days. I should have this as a send channel and just send them to each one. But the important thing here is I use the same reverb on all of the sounds because that's some advice I keep hearing across multiple different channels. Use the same reverb throughout the whole track so that things sound cohesive. What else? The main one I use limiter to make it louder. I actually have this one quite pushed up, which might look crazy to people who produce, and it's reducing the sound by 14 dB, which I is quite a lot. But one piece of advice I saw on one channel is said that there's no set number for anything. You can just kind of work with these numbers until it starts to sound messed up, until things start to be a little funky. So that's what I've been doing. I've been pushing this as far as I can to make it as loud as I can until things start to sound really distorted. And then when they sound distorted, I just pull it back a bit. And in this case, I landed at 20 dB. And it doesn't sound bad to me. The number looks wild. I think when I first started producing, everything was saying like, oh, you should never go past 3. I think this is dB here that is reducing it by, or how hard it's working. But once I saw the video that just said, work with the numbers and use your ears to kind of say, does the sound distorted at this point? If no, keep pushing it. Loud is pretty good, especially with house and dance music. Voxengo Span is another free plugin, and it just shows you the waveform of what's happening on your track. In this case, I have it on the main track, so it's showing me the waveform of everything. Ooh, I think I'm pushing my PC a bit, so the sound is getting a little messed up. But you get the idea. I use this to kind of see if my frequencies are what they're supposed to be in each of the ranges here, to make sure that the track is balanced. So I find this quite useful. And another one I use, what's this, is Ulean loudness meter. So when I'm doing all my mastering, I'm trying to get this somewhere in like the 9 to 6 range. From what I've learned, that's how loud most house tracks will be. There are some genres where you only want to go up to like 14 loops, which is this on the side. Um, but in this case, I always try to aim for like 9 to -9 to -3. And this track I got up to, well, it depends on where you're in the track, but I think certain parts of my track are like at -6, and then the quieter parts are, yeah, around -7. Another plugin that I find quite useful is the Ozone Imager, which I use to expand some sounds to the outside. I'm not going to play it because my computer is, I don't know, kind of overloading a bit when these graphics are playing, but what this does is essentially it can either widen or narrow a sound, so that it's either in the center so that you hear everything in the middle, or that you hear it on the very outside. So that's a good part of the mixing that I've been trying to learn. So choosing which sounds float more to the outside and just act as a support, as opposed to the main sounds that I want to have like center stage and kind of in your face, so to say. Um, and I think that's it. I have a lot of other folders over here, but those are the main ones I've been using so far. Um, yeah, step by step. I don't want to overwhelm myself with too many different plugins here and there. So I've just been sticking to a few, doing what I can with those, and so far so good. I'm sure as I keep going, I'll find uses for some of this other stuff I have here. This Melda production one has plenty of options. So these are all triples because I have like the different formats imported. But there are still quite a lot that come with this Melda free package that you can also find. They have a bunch of different things from EQing to limiters and everything. So I just haven't delved too deep into it yet. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about plugins because I feel like I haven't done it yet. Um, Everything is pretty much outside the box or these free plugins at the moment. And I think that's it. So you have the preview, you have an idea of some of the plugins I'm using, and now I'll just play the visualizer. If you like the song, when you after you hear it, the full track, either here or on SoundCloud, always happy to have feedback. So drop a comment here on YouTube, over on SoundCloud. Give it a download if you want. Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.